All right, so this is a strange question, but one I've seen asked, and it is how to date a man with mommy issues. So, um, the first thing that I think I would want to address, and I would personally need to assess, would be how masculine is the woman asking this question. The times I've heard this question asked have been from very, very masculine men who are intimidated by um, a man who seems to show any favoritism toward another woman. Often it's rooted in insecurity and jealousy. And so my default position is I'm actually going to want to ask some questions from the person asking the question, mainly the woman, to determine what are we dealing with. One of the most common traits that I've seen, and this is by asking well over through both direct and indirect through other friends who have dated. Uh, the number one issue for past relationships ending, from a woman's perspective, this is hands down. Out of close to 100 women, I would I would confidently say 90% of them have said that their previous relationship ended because they were married to a narcissistic, mentally abusive husband. And even more so, a big portion of those relationships ended because the woman had cheated. And it almost is as if they are not taking any personal responsibility and have blanket diagnosed every man as that is the root cause for the divorce. Now, we can get into the legitimacy of those concerns. Maybe there's widespread epidemic of neurotic narcissism that is infectious. Yes, I'm being a little haphazard in my comments, but it is frustrating to say the least. I would say, in my own personal experience, only two women that I've actually had conversations with took genuine responsibility for their part in the ending of their previous relationship. And those two women happen to be two of the women in the older sector of my dating world in their 40s, and they were the most feminine, soft, happy, had the least bitterness and weight on their shoulders. They seemed free. Now, they didn't say that their husbands were like not responsible for the destruction of their relationship in any way. They didn't take all the blame, but the way that they described how their relationship ended was shocking because I simply never heard it. And so when I hear a question like, how do I date a man who has mommy issues? I wonder about the genuineness of the question and if it's not just rooted in, you know, hyperbole for the sake of conveying their personal point of frustration and their own insecurities and jealousies. Now, if that's not the case, and the man that you are uh, dating or getting into a relationship has genuine mother issues, and I would say things like an over infatuation with where their mom is, what she's doing, a constant check in, they live with their mom, things like that. Again, I'm going to want to ask questions from you as to why you would find that this is an okay type of relationship for an adult woman. Why have you lowered your standard and accepted this as something that you need to get navigate through? So this really does come back to you in terms of, if it's not genuine, which is the majority of the time, we need to get to why is there a bitterness over potentially a very healthy, normal relationship with a mom, maybe one you're not accustomed to. And if it is the case that it is an unhealthy relationship with a mom, then we need to find out why you're even trying to navigate it. There are plenty of men in this world who are very normal and have very healthy, normal relationships with their family, and it won't require you to have to navigate through this type of complexity. And I would say if it's genuine, don't enter into it. Don't figure out how to navigate through it. Run away from that relationship and begin to do some self-assessment as to why you were willingly finding it okay to accept that. Maybe you didn't know in the beginning, maybe it just kind of became unraveled, then you were attached to the person. That's all understandable. But ultimately, those are not things that an adult woman should be dealing with in an adult relationship. So just be very cautious. Make sure that you are not wrongly self diagnosing a man who has a very normal relationship with a man who has an over infatuated bad relationship with his mom. Or sometimes this could mean that they just have some mother issues that have translated into, and this is a caveat, mother issues to where maybe they weren't close to their mom. Therefore, that has translated into what you see as toxic traits, which could be viable, that they are not vulnerable. They don't like to get close to women. They are silent a lot. They don't always convey what they feel. Those are separate mother issues and ones that I think are legitimate and will probably require some coaching and therapy to move past it. So if this is you, if you are a woman trying to deal with this or trying to understand why you're putting yourself in these positions to deal with this or why you're attracting potentially the wrong type of guys, I have a link right in the description of this where you can just click it, subscribe. Every Wednesday I do a 15-minute consultation call. I'd love to chat with you and see if I can help you in any way. So feel free, drop in, and let's see what we can do. Take care.